We are going to go ahead and get started with our quarterly update call. I just want to make sure that you guys can't see the timer of the recording because we are recording this. Session. Okay. All participants have been muted. We will be sending a recap email that will include a copy of this presentation. Again, we are recording the session. I wanted to go over a couple of the functions of WebEx. You should see on the right panel at the top is a Q&A with a caret that you can drop down so you can send us questions there. There's also a chat box that you can send to all panelists. We will try our best to monitor both of those throughout the session, but we will be doing questions at the very end for the sake of time. All right. So to start it off, we have our State Director, Bill Byford.
Thanks, Randa. Well, good afternoon. Thanks for joining the call. This is a quarterly update, like Randa said. We'll try to do about 4 of these a year. So there will be some format changes from what Dr. Dawes used to do, and I'll tell you about those moving forward. I am Bill Byford. I am your state director and been with TDOE since '99 in various and sundry roles. With the last 3 years in district operations and now leading the state nutrition team. So looking forward to today's calls. Today's call with the nutrition team, not just me giving updates, but all the directors on the nutrition team and stakeholders. Our No Kid Hungry representative, Marissa Spady, and Peggy Hamby from our TSNA friends. So looking forward to a great call today. Here's our Best for All strategy. We always know we reside down in that bottom left corner with student readiness, meeting the non-academic needs through nutritious, healthy, tasty school meals. Our mission statement for our nutrition team, obviously to build nutrition professionals' capacity to increase those healthy, tasteful meals. Our objectives for today, basically some state director updates and state nutrition team, leadership team updates, along with stakeholder updates as well. We'll start with my updates. So there you go. So again, welcome and thank you for joining. I'll talk about winter regional meetings first. So I attended the East Region meeting, the Southeast meeting, the South Central meeting, and the Southwest meeting. Had a great time doing that. Heard a lot of good comments and concerns and questions from the field. Always good to take that feedback and input and go back and try to adjust some of the things we do. I know one thing in particular that we're working on that's of interest to you TMAC users out there, which is everybody on this call probably. We know that timeout limit is way too little. I think it's set at 8 minutes. We want to get that extended through numerous conversations that I've heard out in the field. So we will extend that to 30 minutes and you'll see that change over the next few days. Hopefully that'll help you. I know I'm a E-Plan user and an Edison user, and those timeout limits are 30 minutes. Like I always say, the only thing worse than doing something once is losing track of time, not saving it, and having to do it again. So I feel your pain, TMAC users, and we will be extending that timeout window for TMAC consumption moving forward. that was one thing that we heard out in winter regional meetings. I always love putting a name with a face. Hopefully you can now pick me out of a lineup too for those 4 meetings that I went to. I will prioritize the other 4 regions in upcoming meetings throughout the year. I want to get around to every region in the state. Once again, I appreciate all the feedback and had a good time at the winter regional meetings. I'll talk a little bit about the format of the call today too. So obviously this thing's going to be quarterly. Look forward to seeing you and hearing from you every 3 months. This will be the state nutrition team, not just the Bill Byford show. This will also be your state nutrition partners as well in your TSNA organization. And today we'll be hearing from No Kid Hungry. We'll have additional partners on each of these calls moving forward. Like Randa said, if you've got questions, put them in the chat and we'll try to answer those at the end. If we don't get to it as a result of not having enough time, we will follow up with those questions and answers on the listserv. So, new initiatives. You'll be hearing about our mentorship program today. We're excited about that. You'll hear about a director's showcase that's kind of modeled after director study councils and supervisor study councils and principal study councils. I think nobody likes hearing from State Department talking heads all day, every day. You want to hear from peers that walk in your shoes and are operators just like you, hear about best practice to replicate that best practice. So we feel like that director showcase is going to be something that you're going to really enjoy, and look forward to hearing more about that. We've been working hard and heavy on a state recognized certification plan for those folks who want to get that minimum certification, but also want to grow and receive additional endorsements and continue to get better at what you do. So looking forward to hearing from that. You'll hear several grant updates today. We've talked about our TMAC platform and going through the RFP process and landing with the same vendor and some enhancements that we'll be rolling out throughout this year. Dr. Dawes will share those with us. She'll also share about the Medicaid demonstration project that we were awarded through the USDA several weeks back, but we'll get to work on that for implementation in the 24 school year. And then we'll hear from our No Kid Hungry stakeholder and our TSNA organization as well. Consolidated Appropriations Act. So don't have a lot of information on this one because this just came out last week and obviously seeking additional guidance. But I will tell you about a couple of things that we are acutely aware of. So we know over the past 3 years with the pandemic, we've been operating PEBT in the summer. That will transition to just straight up EBT, and that'll be $40 a month versus what it has been in the past. So there'll be a straight benefit for eligible kids of $120 for the months of June, July, and August. So look for more information around that. Another side note around that, and we hear this all the time around PBT. Why am I receiving this card with this money on it? Typically, we get those calls from more affluent parents in CEP districts that every student qualifies, and the parents are like, look, I don't need this money. They will have the ability to opt out of that, and students that want to receive out of CEP schools and districts that $120 total amount will have to submit a free and reduced application for the summer. That's not great information for a lot of operators out there because it will be additional work to be done, but we will talk more about that and hopefully help you streamline that process to where it's much easier to accomplish moving forward. Another anecdote out of the Consolidated Appropriations Act is the rural waiver for non-congregate, where congregate options don't currently exist. Obviously waiting for a whole lot of guidance, additional guidance there, like what constitutes rural. Dr. Dawes and I were talking about that this morning, and we know that 90% of the state of Tennessee is classified as rural, but I think we're talking about um, which schools in a district are considered rural away from non-congregate settings. So, or away from congregate settings to be a non-congregate setting and be able to qualify for that waiver. Uh, Actually talked to the USDA this morning around that a little bit, and there will be further information to come on that topic. So I'd love to answer all your questions around that. And I know there'll be several, and we have them too. So if you can hold the questions around the Consolidated Appropriations Act, because I simply can't answer them. Feel free to populate them in the chat, and I'll be glad to ask those questions to the USDA. And a lot of times that's how the final guidance is administered, is through questions and answers, and obviously how to operationalize some of these things. The USDA is not an operator. They are an organization that comes up with rules and regs. It takes all of us to discuss how these operationalized initiatives work and don't work out in the field. So your questions are appreciated, and that helps in the USDA's awareness of the issues out there, and helps in our awareness as well. Helps us to be able to advocate for you better. State matching. I know a lot of you look forward to state matching every year because you want that little extra bump in your budgets. We're running calculations as we speak. These dollars should be in your local accounts within the next 10 business days on a rolling basis, first come, first serve, as far as how that list works out. Talked to our finance folks yesterday and found out that they were running those calculations yesterday, and they'll be rolling those funds out to you very shortly. Remote learning days. So really nothing's changed here. Again, we're trying to combat the legislation that was put into law last year. And basically what it says is if you use a remote learning day, you must offer meals as is, like you were in school. We've got districts who want to use those for unanticipated school closures like sickness, like inclement weather. Obviously, it makes no sense to use one of those for inclement weather, because the premise of a remote instruction day and a inclement weather day is safety. So we wouldn't want to call school off for safety reasons, fix breakfast and lunch, and require people to come back in and eat that. So we still, again, are waiting on guidance from the USDA, and that was part of that conversation this morning. We have submitted 4 waivers: non-congregate, meal times, offer versus serve, and parent pickup, that would assist us in those remote learning days. And we had a great discussion this morning on unanticipated school closure and how remote learning days might fit into that, and those waivers be utilized for that. So I feel like the Southeast Regional Office understands our perspective. They advocate with us, for us, through the national office. So they'll go back after our conversation this morning and try to clarify our intentions around remote learning days waivers, and make sure that we are heard, and hopefully those waivers will be approved. Summer learning camps. So we've been doing a lot of work over the past several weeks on identifying area eligible schools and non-area eligible schools. We've got that list whittled down to 227 out of 1,860 schools in the state of Tennessee that are not area eligible. At the department, through Dr. Coons, our chief academic officer, we've been having conversations. Obviously, the commissioner's at the forefront of those conversations. We want to give you every opportunity to be able to get reimbursed through either National School Lunch Program by extending your operating window through the summer months, or seamless summer option. uh, as an area eligible school. There's a lot of different scenarios there. The main thing is to identify the schools after an exhaustive data search and a lot of math in a lot of different ways. Identify those schools, and we feel pretty good about the 227 list right now. Be able to communicate with you and your director of schools and your academic folks on summer learning camps and the strategy that you want to use to be able to reimburse meals. I know you don't want to pay that out of general purpose funds. I know you don't want to use your summer learning camp funds for food costs. You'd rather spend that on teacher salaries and transportation and curriculum and those things. I hear you loud and clear on that. Again, I feel like the nutrition team has done a lot of good work in preparation for summer learning camp conversations that will start next week. And I will be communicating at large with you about the schools that do, the schools that don't, and what you do for the schools that don't, that could potentially reimburse you outside of summer learning camp funds or general purpose funds. So more to come on that. Thank you. PBT round 5. So spending a huge portion of the day trying to solution round 5, and we've submitted our state plan. We've submitted our admin request through the USDA. Nothing has been approved yet, but there are some differences and some nuances, just like in every round. There are definitely nuances in round 5. The timeline is something of great concern to us because it is the end of September to have all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. And you know as well as I do, we're still cleaning up rounds 3 and rounds 4 from appeals and all the like. So as we sit here today with an unapproved state plan and the inability to hit the ground running as we speak to try to get some of this PEBT round 5 work started. We continue to wait on the approval from the USDA. I feel like that approval will come here within the next, I don't know, a week or two, maybe 10 business days. And when it does, you'll hear from me out of the gate with PowerPoints, WebExes, resource guides, and all the things that we're going to ask you to help us do. Again, if we can do it at the state level, we're not going to ask you to, do anything to support PEB2 round 5. But the reality of those applications at the school level sites requires us to communicate with you at times to validate things and make sure that we get it right. And that's the main thing for us, is to get it right. There is a homeschool virtual school children component this year, and I know that sounds crazy. It sounded crazy to us since that has never been allowable in previous rounds. We were just dealing with brick and mortar students. We will have to communicate with homeschool and virtual school families who have unenrolled as a result of COVID over the last 3 years. We feel like we've got some good simplified assumptions in place to roll those benefits out once we qualify these kids. There will be an application process for those non-CEP students and for those students that are not on directly certified lists. These are truly students that fill out site-based, and their families fill out site-based applications. We will be talking to you in the near future about what the expectation is around that. I don't think the homeschool virtual school process is going to be cumbersome on you at the local level. It will be cumbersome on us, but we will take on that fight and work with the homeschool virtual school component of PEBT round 5. All I would ask is what I've asked before in round 4 when I started kind of taking over PEBT, and that's, if we ask you for anything, please expedite that. And I couldn't stress that enough this year, given the fact of the September 30th deadline. So really, you'll notice a lot of similarities with some of the business rules from round 4. We will ask you to upload entire enrollments for CEP schools and districts. We'll ask you for only qualifying application-based students for non-CEP schools and districts and kids on the DC list. We'll ask you to upload those lists in ServiceNow just like you've done before. That should be a pretty familiar process to about 70% of you. We figure there's about 30% of you that have never done PEBD before because you're a brand new operator this year. This is your first year. There will be resource guides. There will be support for you in knowing what to do and when to do it. So I don't want you to stress out about it. We'll help you every inch of the way when it comes to PEBT, but realize that over the next couple of weeks, we will be rolling out what the state plan is, what the expectations are, what the timeline is, and we hope to be better. Always hope to improve, but hope to be better in round 5 than we've ever been. So thank you for your help with that in previous rounds. And thank you for joining the call today. I'm going to kick it over to, I believe, Jolene.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
I'm Jolene Shear. I'm the local support and regional consultant director, and I have the privilege of supporting the consultant team behind the scenes, which in turn helps support you and get your job done. Part of my work is making initiatives come to life. So I'm excited to talk to you about these 3 initiatives that we have. We've worked really hard to provide them. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Our mentorship program is what we're going to talk about first. There we go. Slides up. We recognize that our seasoned school nutrition directors bring a wealth of knowledge, especially to new supervisors who are just starting out with boots on the ground knowledge and fostering those relationships. So I'm proud to announce that we're going to launch a new mentorship program in partnership with TSNA. It will match seasoned school nutrition directors with 5+ years of experience to new directors who've been in their role 3 years or less. It's completely voluntary. I know you guys have a lot on your plates, but if you're willing to participate, we want to have you. Our next steps will be for the regional consultant to reach out to you. So be looking for a call from them to gauge your interest. From there, I will make matches, and then we're going to introduce you via email. And from there, you'll take it away. It is a 1-year commitment. So be thinking if you'd like to participate. Our next initiative is our School Nutrition Director Showcase. We know that you have awesome school nutrition programs. We're super excited to help you show them off to your peers and share your ideas. So our whole goal really is to provide a platform for you to do it. And so what does that look like? Well, we're looking for a volunteer that'll host your region at the school. We'll provide a little state agency update, a pocket training, and then you get a chance to walk your peers through your program aspects, anything you want to share, and enjoy lunch together at your school if time permits. The goal at the end of the year is that your region will be voting on a chairperson during TSNA conference in Gatlinburg. And then that chairperson will continue the director showcase next year. So we're excited about this awesome new experience. Hope you're excited about it. Also a great way to network with your peers and learn from each other, as Bill had mentioned. And some ideas to get you thinking about the showcase are, maybe you have a summer feeding bus or an awesome culinary arts program that's integrated with school nutrition, innovative equipment in your kitchen, such as a wireless monitoring system in your coolers or freezers. Maybe you have a theme day, grab and go breakfast model. This list is not all inclusive, of course. So if you have something that you'd love to share with your peers, please reach out to your regional consultant. We're thinking of hosting them anytime between February and July. So please reach out. We want to see your amazing programs, and we want you guys to be able to share that with each other. And if you don't reach out, we'll probably reach out to you. We know everybody's got great programs. And finally, the third initiative, and you can see the screen here, the best way to wrap your head around this is a visual. So you'll see the professional standards there up on the screen. And I'm talking about the highlighted areas. So Tennessee has experienced a high turnover rate of school nutrition director positions, especially after COVID. USDA hiring standard requirements for education and experience can make it challenging to find candidates. So to assist districts, we've created a path for compliance for candidates whose bachelor's degree don't quite meet the USDA educational hiring standards or who lack 1 year of experience. We often hear sometimes one of you guys will be retiring. You're like, I have this great manager, but they don't quite qualify. This is those folks. This could help them. So in recognizing the struggle, the state is granted flexibility to have a state recognized certification to supplement a bachelor's degree outside of one of the required academic areas. This also can help you gain 1 year of experience on the job. So how can you do this? Basically what you can do, we have created a memorandum of understanding. It's ready for districts to utilize now. And while we were creating the certification program, we also recognized, hey, this would be great for increasing knowledge in anybody who wants to get a state recognized certification. So this is open to anybody with no MOU. If you want to do our state recognized certification, there's 3 pathways. And then once you complete the pathway, you will submit your documentation to schoolnutrition@tn.gov. And then we also want to recognize you, S&P Academy and TSNA. So we're excited about this. You will see more information about it underneath professional standards on our website. So be looking right there for that information. If you have any questions, reach out to your regional consultant or reach out to me. We also are going to put this information in the commissioner's newsletter for director of schools. We're working on that now. We wanted to tell you guys first because we know that an MOU obviously would require director of schools involvement. So we're super excited to get these initiatives underway. I hope you're excited about them. I'm going to return it over to Brooke Babs, who is our Southeast Regional Consultant for a district highlight. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you so much, Jolene. Good afternoon, everyone. It is my absolute pleasure to highlight McMinn County Schools. Only in her role in about 4 months, Tiffany Wells, who is the school nutrition supervisor, has really hit the ground running on her program. Her managers came to her wanting to participate in the annual Christmas parade in Athens. Really, the main goal was to spread word about what school nutrition is doing for the community. They received 16 pallets of chips from Amazon, which were smart snack compliant, and M&M Mars donated cases of candy, although not smart snack compliant. It was a nice treat for those who were attending the Christmas parade. At a minimum cost, they rented an 18-wheel hitch, and the manager supplied the hay to sit on, along with lights and blow-ups. Everyone dressed up in food and even made the local newspaper, which you can see on your screen. Tiffany had told me she had a great response from participating in the parade, not only from the district, but from the community as well. I'm super excited to see what next big project her and her team are going to be working on next. I really want to thank Tiffany for allowing me to highlight her and her team. They are rock stars. And supervisors, since we got you on the call today, if you have anything you want to share with us, please, please, please reach out to your consultant. We want to brag on you. I want to brag on you on all the great things that you're doing for your district. So now I will pass it along to Marlia for her updates. Thank you all so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marlia Finch. I am the Supplemental Programs Director. So that means I oversee communications and marketing, the training and professional development. So all the behind the scene work to make sure we have the best trainings for you guys, and also farm to school efforts. And I also manage the fresh fruit and vegetable program. So I'll dive right into some grant and programmatic updates. All right, I know you have seen the Junior Chef Competition marketing floating around in the weekly updates.
Well, we're here to remind you that the junior chef applications are due by Tuesday, January 31st, to Lindsay. Her email is on the screen, so be sure to get those in before the close of business next Tuesday. The competition this year will be held at the Nashville State Community College Southeast Campus, and that is in Antioch. They have a great big kitchen, so all teams can compete at the same time. So we'll have a fun event this year at Nashville State Community College. And as always, if you have any questions regarding junior chef, please reach out to Lindsay or myself, and we are happy to answer any questions you may have. Moving on to some grant updates. So the equipment grant applications that are currently floating around for the 2023 school year are due February 15th, and you will email those applications to school.nutrition@tn.gov. If you have any questions regarding the current equipment grant applications floating around, please reach out to Lindsay. But if you have any questions for the equipment grants you have already been awarded, please reach out to Jasmine as you normally would, and her email address is jasmine.taylor@tn.gov. Moving on to the fresh fruit and vegetable program, I just want to give everyone a reminder that November claims are due by the end of January. We don't want them to be considered late. And then as a reminder, since this is a quarterly call, December claims will be due by the end of February. And again, if you have any questions regarding claims or the fresh fruit and vegetable program, please reach out to me. I'm happy to assist. And then a nice little nugget, the FSCT applications for next year will be opening in TMAC in mid-February, and more information on that to come. All right, and I know many of you have started to receive emails with the Supply Chain Assistant Award grant letters. Sharon Jordan has been sending those out, so if you have an email from her with your grant award letter, that is what that is. She's wrapping up the tail end of them, so all of them should be sent out soon, if not already. And if you have any questions about the Supply Chain Assistant grant, or the attestation and declination forms that went out with those award letters, please email the school.nutrition@tn.gov. I do know there is one question floating around out there already. When will you be receiving these funds? You should be receiving your funds within the next 30 business days. And we did have a communications update, or rather a question for you guys. So typically we have been sending out our weekly update email every Friday via our listserv. So we wanted to poll you guys today while we have a captive audience to see if you would prefer to keep the weekly updates on Friday, or we could move them to Mondays if you prefer, or if you don't have any preference, that is an option too. So if you wouldn't mind to take a couple of seconds to click on the poll question that should be popped up on your screen now, and let us know which do you prefer, Friday or Monday for the weekly update. And then we will gather that information from the poll, and then we will update you guys accordingly, and we'll either continue with a Friday weekly update or move that to Monday based on the results from this poll. So be sure to get your input in there.
We'll leave this poll open for maybe like 30 more seconds just to make sure you have the opportunity to answer if you haven't already, though the vast majority of you have already responded. So we greatly appreciate your participation today. All right, I'm going to close the poll. I think it might have like a 15-second countdown after I click that button. So closing the poll. Yeah, it is giving you the last 15-second countdown. Final countdown. Okay, I have the data and we will share that and we will let you know the results.
Perfect. Thank you, Randa. And with that, that wraps up my communications updates and grant updates. Here is my contact information if you need anything grant related or program related. And I will pass it off to Dr. Dawes.
Thank you, Marlia. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope your 22-23 year is getting off to a great start. For those of you who do not know me, I have been at TDOE for 4 years, but I've only been in my current role as the School Nutrition's Compliance Director and Manager of Special Projects for about 6 months. My role as your compliance director is to answer regulatory questions you or the state agency team may have, keep TMAC up and running, assist Bill with audits, conduct ARs and PRs, as well as monitor those ARs and PRs at the state level, collaborate with external and internal partners by providing input as it relates to school nutrition, and managing special projects such as the Medicaid project. I am very thankful to be part of the school nutrition and all it entails to keep kids fed in our state. So first, I'm going to start off with TMAC here. So in August, we were fortunate to get a new meal claiming and counting system contract in place with Link. The contract with all of the possible extensions could remain in place for 7 years. In this contract, we have the same Titan option that was in the previous Collier contract. We are excited to continue to provide you at no cost menu planning and production records. The menu planning piece will allow you to effortlessly and efficiently train, track, plan, and your menus. The production records will help you in tracking these menus and also projecting some actual plate costs. Titan will be able to, within minutes, compile these menu plans, production records, and item fact sheets that will help us in conducting ARs and make everything run more smoothly, and it'll be less paperwork for everyone involved. If you would like to find out more about Titan and menu planning and production records, please reach out to Latresa Harris at latresa.r.harris@tn.gov. Her contact information is on the screen there, you can see. So, we're also excited here at TDOE to have several enhancements coming soon. When the RFP was written, we wanted to make sure we asked for everything that could possibly improve your jobs and our jobs. So we've got several bells and whistles coming. Some will be noticeable by you, some will not, but do know that they are there. One such enhancement that you will be involved in and receive is system alerts. So coming soon will be system alerts that will email you that you're on the verge of missing a deadline or some additional information may be needed in your application. The system alerts will aid you and the state agency to make sure we meet all of those deadlines. We've had several late claims come in this year, and maybe if we'd had this in place, that might not have happened. So that's our goal there, to help everybody involved to have better processes in place to make sure that we're all in time and in regulations. So we also have some advanced data analytic capabilities that will allow us to run both pre-delivered queries and ad hoc reports. These reports can be over many different things. Some at the local level might be that you might be doing a presentation with your state board, or you may be, training your staff, and you want some really cool graphics of breakfast participation or lunch participation or something like that. You could reach out to Andrew here at the state agency, and he could help you with gathering that information and creating those charts and graphs to really make some very appealing visual appealing and for presentations or training. Sorry, guys. Having a little trouble with my voice today. But anyway, of all the bells and whistles we have coming, which there are a lot, I am most excited and most nervous about, because it's going to take a lot of work on our part and everyone's part, because it's something that we are not used to at all, is the DC and verification enhancement module. So we will be utilizing a new direct cert enhancement. The purpose of the DC module is to provide administrators, state users, and you with an efficient method for a state level data matching. And yes, you did hear correctly, state level data matching solution that reduces the burden for you and improves administrative workflow. We will begin testing of this product late March, but anticipate it to be fully up and running for our first Medicaid data match in July. More to come as we begin to implement and test this product. So be looking out for communication from myself about this product in the coming months. So CEP, due to COVID-19, USDA has afforded us several extension opportunities when it came to CEP. As to date, USDA has not provided any of those same extensions for this year. Therefore, you must use school level identified student data as of April 1 to calculate your ISP. According to Section 11A1F of the National School Lunch Act, the ISP must be established using the number of identified students and the number of total enrolled students as of April 1. However, due to variations in the point in time for monthly updates in state and direct cert local systems, updates to the ISP could be made before or after April 1 to account for differences in operational procedures. But the ISP data must be representative of this date. So I remind you again, April 1, 2023, ISP calculations to be done based on that data. However, Saturday is an April 1 this year, so use March 31st when calculating your ISP. Also, no later than June the 30th, you must let us know your intent to operate CEP. I know this year we had a lot of flexibility, and we were allowed a lot of flexibility by USDA in this requirement. However, next year, it doesn't look like we're going to have that flexibility, and this is a requirement. So please be sure to let us know of your intent to operate CEP. This can be done in your application, whenever it opens in TMAC. But if for any reason you can't get it into your application, whatever that may be, just let your consultant or me know. And then once you've elected CEP, it's good for 4 years. That cycle is, and it's also possible 1 year grace year if needed. Provision 2. So since the onset of COVID-19 and all meals being provided at no cost to students, there's been an uptick in SFAs wanting to implement Provision 2 in their districts. So if you plan to operate Provision 2, you can choose to operate either breakfast, lunch, or both. You must implement Provision 2 at the beginning of the year. Therefore, conversations should begin with your school boards long before school begins. You will need to let us know your plans to implement Provision 2. During the first year of Provision 2, also known as the base year, you will continue like normal national school lunch operations and process free and reduced applications. All meals will be provided to all students at no cost, and monthly claims will be based on free and reduced paid status of students for corresponding month. All SFAs in a base year of Provision 2 will receive an abbreviated AR. During the next 3 years, the school makes no new eligibility determinations and counts only the total number of reimbursable meals served each day. Reimbursement during these years is determined by applying the percentages of free and reduced meals served each day based on the base year of your total meal count and the claiming month. Provision 2 is for 4 years with a possible 4-year extension at the same reimbursement percentages. Policy statements should be updated. So regulations require that you update or amend your policy statement, meaning you must let your stakeholders know about Provision 2 at all and all free meals being served. As stated previously, Provision 2 is on a 4-year cycle. At the end of the 4 years, you can request a 4-year extension. If an extension is requested, we will review census or other data, and if the income level remains stable or has only improved slightly, which is per USDA is 5%, your request would likely be approved. So, public health emergency. Well, the public health emergency has been extended through April 11th of 2023. There have been so many waivers, but wanted to remind everyone about the on-site monitoring waiver. Tennessee received a waiver from USDA that waives on-site visits until 30 days after the public health emergency. Therefore, on-site monitoring waivers must still be completed, or on-site monitoring reviews, must still be completed, but they can either be completed in person or via a desktop. They do not have to be submitted in TMAC, but you do need to keep them on file at the local level for 3 years plus the current. So my final slide here is going to be over the most anticipated Medicaid demonstration project. So on December 23rd, our application to participate in Medicaid demonstration project was approved. Medicaid direct certification has the potential to improve student access to school meals, reduce the administrative burden for schools and families, and improve certification accuracy. Unlike SNAP and TANF, Medicaid can also be used to certify children for reduced price meals. The process for implementation begins with getting a MOU in place that identifies the roles and responsibilities of all agencies. We have been working with DOE, TennCare, and TennCare for months to get the required MOU in place. Part of the MOU is the required data elements for Medicaid. These elements will include all of the elements currently included in the SNAP and TANF data with a few differences. The Medicaid data will include Medicaid match for free and reduced eligibility based on income. No income data will be shared. Also, no Social Security number data will be shared by TennCare. So once this MOU is signed, TDOE will begin to work closely with Link to set up and implement the new DC verification module. Medicaid match with student enrollment will occur at the state level. The districts may have to upload their student enrollment into TMAC. This all depends on the data points needed for the matches. We would like to be able to match using TDOE SIS, but state system doesn't capture addresses. So if we can figure out a way around that address piece, then we may be able to do the match at the state level. So who will benefit from the additional direct cert match with Medicaid? Children may benefit if they meet both the following criteria. They have to receive Medicaid or live in a household with another child who received Medicaid. And they have to meet the family income measured by the National School Lunch Program standards compared to family size. Since they must meet an income standard, children determined eligible to be directly certified for free meals based on Medicaid data are not categorically eligible for free meals, meaning certification for Medicaid cannot be based on providing a Medicaid case number or letter from the Medicaid agency. Students already certified for free or reduced price meals based on an application or direct serve with another program must not be negatively impacted by the match with Medicaid. Direct certification for reduced price meals does not impact the ISP for the community eligibility provision. So, as soon as possible, you should start your conversations and let your vendor know. Just let them know that we have been approved and we will be participating in this Medicaid demonstration project. And let them know that we'll be reaching out to you pretty soon with these data elements and asking you questions and asking you to participate in our testing. Most of your vendors have already participated in Medicaid and are aware of this system, as there are now 39 states approved for Medicaid. We're working with TennCare, Link, and TDOE departments to quickly get this process in place. So you may want to start those conversations before we actually have those conversations with you. We will soon begin testing in the DC Medicaid matching process in TMAC. And once we have completed this at the state, we will be asking for a few of you guys to participate in the testing and provide feedback. One of the pieces I think that is often missed is your participation out there, and that's where the rubber meets the road, and it is most critical. So once the kinks are worked out and we have trained the state agency, we will begin training you. Our goal is to get this implemented by July 1, 2023. So be expecting much more communication as we progress with the steps necessary to get this project up and running. So here's my contact information. If you have any questions or just want to talk about any of this or concerns, just let me know. And again, thank you for everything you do out there to keep our kids fed. Have a blessed day. And I'm going to hand it off to Josh now.
Thank you, Sandy. Good afternoon. I hope everyone had a great time over the holidays with their families. My name is Josh Nunley, and I'm the contract manager and procurement specialist for the Office of School Nutrition. I have three things I want to mention today in regards to procurement. The first is around state small purchase thresholds. There have been some changes to state TCAs 49.2.203 and 12.3.12.12 that may have impacted your small purchase thresholds. I've asked that the links be attached so you have reference of these TCAs, but please speak to your finance director for your LEA or county to determine if a change was made to your procurement policy. And then please update your procurement plans if a change occurred to those policies. And just as a reminder, there'll be two procurement trainings, one on March 23rd and the other on March 30th that will mention this and the other procurement requirements. The second thing is just a reminder about non-competitive procurement. The end of the public health emergency does not impact your ability to use non-competitive procurement. However, SFAs must follow the federal requirements for use of an emergency non-competitive procurement method as outlined here in 2 CFR 200-320C. Use of the emergency non-competitive procurement method, that's number 3 on the slide, is only allowable during the actual public exigency or emergency circumstance. However, the public emergency is just one of 5 circumstances that an SFA might use the non-competitive procurement method. Those 5 circumstances are on this slide. SFA should document their justification for using non-competitive procurement, comply with other procurement requirements, ensure that costs are necessary, reasonable, and allocable. And the last thing I want to talk about today is procurements of food service management company and vending meal contracts. We're at the end of January, so if your SFA is thinking of procuring either of these options, now is the time to submit your RFPs or IPs, as these procurements can take some time to draft and get approved. If you currently have one of these contracts, now is also the time to determine if you'd like to renew them. Here's my contact information if you have any questions about any of the slides presented. Have a great day, and I'll turn this over to Marissa.
Marissa, if you're talking, we can't hear you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to Peggy since we couldn't hear Marissa, and if we get our audio fixed, we will come back to you, Marissa. Peggy?
Okay, well, TSNA, we're excited to be part of this. And, you know, it is a group of professionals that volunteers, and we want to always emphasize that. And I appreciate all that serves on the board. Our mission is to educate and empower our members. And what a benefit to join SNA, TSNA. Whereas can you belong to a group that belongs, it is your work family. And for like $15 for directors, and for our other employees is $10. So if you're interested, on this slide that I think will be coming up here, reach out to Stephanie Dyer. Her information is on now. And as members, some of the benefits to TSNA is that we have a wonderful opportunity for professional training and to work on our certifications. For example, the Leadership Academy, which Dr. Brian Corpse already had an outstanding record number of group this year, and that has already met, and we always benefit from them as our future leaders. And then the Culinary Academy, that is fast approaching. So don't forget the deadline has been extended, and Cheryl Cochran and her group does an outstanding job in helping us train that we can come back and you have that experience in your cafeteria. And this year they have the chef from the ICN that will be coming. So we're always excited. So don't miss that opportunity. And one of the big things I think with TSNA benefit is our classes that we get to take at conference. I'm always interested in the conference, and I know Megan Adams is working hard on that, and just the networking that we have. Vicki Dunaway, her steering committee is already working on, and you can see our logo. It's changed a little bit, but it is a Aloha 2023. And we're going to look at ways that we can be successful. And the conference has got a little twist to it this year, just to pique your interest there. So it's always a great time. And then don't forget, a benefit is a scholarship, and that will be coming out here in a week, where you can apply for a scholarship if you want to go back and take classes, and which is always good. Or if you have family members. So we have industry, and we have TSNA, and all of that. As a member of TSNA, you can apply. I know I benefit, my kids is benefit, and it's like $1,000 that you can get that go towards your classes. So be looking for that. I have a newsletter that's be coming out here. Try to do that every month. If you're not getting it, if something's happened and somehow I miss you, let me know. Reach out to me on my information is there, so that we make sure you keep up with our monthly newsletter. And TSNA is a voice for school nutrition. Melissa Livingston has been working hard. She keeps us on our advocacy for a program, which is always important because we know, yes, we all want to feed those kids. And right now, of our times, LAC is coming up. And if you look at the important dates, and I just list that, and there'll be a newsletter, but those are some important dates that we want you to be part of. And I'm going to stress March the 1st is coming up too here soon. Nominate. We have great directors, we have managers, we have employees, we have so many that does wonderful things, and we want to recognize them on our state national. So please be lookout for that information coming in so we can get everybody on board. We also want to say underneath, you can see on the PowerPoint, there's East, Middle, and West. We have 3 regional representatives that's been working so hard, and you can send whichever one is in your area, send that information to them. So we want to get on that Facebook. We do have a active TSA Facebook, and so we want you to be recognized on that. And we are currently, they are working on trying to get our state website. We know it's not active, but they are working hard on that to try to get it active. And I'm hoping very soon that we can have that for everybody to see. So I also want to thank the state for the relationship that we're building with our state. It's important. It takes all of us to reach our mission. We all have that same mission. So jump on board if you've not joined. Again, look at that and you can see Stephanie's information. Join TSNA and let's all work together so that we can. Tennessee is always outstanding, and I appreciate everybody. My email is underneath there, my phone number. I'm here on the whole board. We're here for you, and look for that newsletter. If you don't get it in a few days, then that means somehow I have your contact wrong. So thank you and aloha.
Thank you so much, Peggy. I'm going to switch back to Marissa. I do know that we are at time, so I do want to say I don't know that we'll have time to actually answer questions, but please just still put those in the chat and we will get those addressed even if we don't have time to answer them live on the call. Marissa?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Well, I apologize for that, but thank you so much for this opportunity to share some updates from No Kid Hungry. I saw some of you this morning on the Summer Summit call with DHS, so just want to turn to that first. We are here. I know many of you are starting to plan for summer meals. Just want to let you know that we will also have some marketing materials that will be coming out. There will be some webinars that will be available as well to talk about summer meals. And we just want to let you know that we will have grants available as well to help with your summer planning. Our text line 304-304 will be functioning this summer to help your families understand where your sites are going to be located. We do have our advocacy and policy teams staying engaged and involved with the omnibus and the farm bill. So just want to let you know that that is happening on the Capitol and that they are working hard to advocate for these programs. In addition to that, we have a Mayor's Alliance. We know that each and every one of you are working so hard to make sure that kids get fed. We want to elevate that too and build some additional supports throughout our elected officials. And up until the beginning of the year, we did not have any mayors here in Tennessee on board with ending childhood hunger and being aware of the problem. But we have our first, thanks to Megan Adams in Roane County. So if anyone else has a relationship with a mayor, we'd love to share some information with you about that opportunity. In addition, we do have some cohorts of schools and programs across the country that are working in what SNAP in schools could look like and how that can be a great avenue for our families to be recipients of SNAP, but also making sure that they're getting directly certified. So I do want to let you know that the best practices hopefully will be coming out here in the next year. Next slide, Rena. That being said, on the horizon in the next couple of weeks, next week actually, we are going to be hosting a No Kid Hungry Grants webinar featuring one of your colleagues, School Nutrition Director Vonda Bradford from Franklin County Schools. That will happen on Tuesday, January 31st at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm excited to have you all hear from her and hear about our grant opportunities that are available to you. We have taken some feedback from some of you all who wanted an opportunity to connect with one another. We hosted our first East Region School Nutrition Appreciation Gathering in the fall, and it was very well received. Got some really great feedback from each other, but it was really just an opportunity for you to network and join together and share some updates and support for one another. Our next one will be in Upper Middle Tennessee in Robertson County. Thank you to Patsy for hosting that for us on Thursday, February 16th from 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Central Time. We will have lunch provided and an opportunity for that networking. And tentatively, we're scheduling Southwest Tennessee for Thursday, March 23rd at the same time. Something that we are hearing on the ground is the opportunity to offer after-school snacks and meals through the CACFP program. I've learned from many of you that you are working with community-based partners and sponsors and want to really just share what is happening on the ground. So CACFP week will be March 12th through 18th, and we were hoping to have some recorded webinars that will be available for you to learn about some of the great programming that is happening across the state of Tennessee. So be on the lookout for that coming soon. Some additional resources that we do have available will be the new summer meals, school meals marketing toolkit, where you can find some graphics and things for social media, things for your website that are already pre-made and ready for you to use, as well as some research that has been provided from across the country in our Centers for Best Practice program with managing costs in school nutrition programs. And last but not least, if you all have any questions, we would love for you to join us and join Team No Kid Hungry. There's our website. Please follow us on Twitter and feel free to reach out to us and fill out our inquiry form. Thanks so much, guys. Look forward to being in touch.
Thank you, Marissa.
All right. Well,
Bill, do
thanks
you
for
want
hanging in. Yeah. Thanks for hanging in here with us. I see we still have about 130 folks on the calls. We want to honor your time. It's about 7 minutes after the hour. Like Randa said, if you've got questions, put those in the chat. We'll be glad to follow up with those and put those answers on listserv. We won't address those now. We're obviously over time. But we appreciate your attendance today, and thank you to all the folks on the call and to our external partners as well. We'll talk to you later. Thank you.
And just so everyone knows, I'll stay around for a couple of minutes just so that the question boxes will remain open. So if you have any outstanding questions, you can go ahead and put those in and we'll get to them later.